Hi everyone, so the long-awaited Season 27 PTR is live and I just finished my first testing session here. It's very late, I'm very tired and I just want to give some first impressions, and I'm gonna talk about a lot more topics very soon. But what you see here is the Rathma Necromancer. So kind of unexpectedly, this one turned out to be absolutely ridiculous. As you can see, you have these Army of the Dead, Death Valley, like pops all over the place, all the time. So this is actually what is completely dominating on the PTR right now. It's an old build, and it seems like this has to do with this seasonal theme that gives you the extra Army of the Dead casts permanently all around you, which I expected would be kind of good. But what actually happens is that it casts the wrong rune. So you see this is the Death Valley and not the unconventional warfare as was stated in the tooltip. So this is clearly a bug and makes it way stronger than it is. But right now this is actually, funny enough, like, the build on the PTR. There are actually people going towards GR150 right now. So if you look at this here, solo Necromancer is pretty close to it already. They're basically just blasting through it. There's a lot of guys doing the same. It's not very hard. And this is, potentially with level 25 gems, really crappy gear in some cases, not optimized. So this is what we're looking at right now. Pretty funny stuff. Obviously, first day of PTR, there's always going to be some kind of, buggy, broken stuff. We did try out some of the other new effects, so especially this magic missile effect for the wizards was very anticipated, I guess. So it looks like this. It actually does what we expected. So you just annihilate with firebirds with this, but not just the enemies, but also the servers. So that is a big issue with this. It's very powerful, but it is very, very laggy when you shoot 100 plus projectiles per second, and you have the firebird dots, and you have these dots that stack up from the missile itself. Yeah, it is a disaster in terms of lags. So I don't think this is really gonna be a thing. I expect this missile stuff will get heavily tuned down to some degree, because it's simply unplayable, and I don't expect this will be any kind of playable even on the live servers when you have way more server performance. It's just not gonna happen. Even in solo, you just lag out of this on so small pulls. I gotta say, it does look pretty awesome though, so maybe there's a way to fix that somehow, or maybe it could be some kind of extra damage buff to those magic missiles so that you can actually play this as the DMO build, for example, which is also one of the newly buffed sets, or updated sets, I guess, at least. And this might be an option at least, to have the magic missiles in that set instead of Firebird. I also did try the new Tarasha a bit with the Meteors, so it actually turned out to not be absolutely crazy with 50 meteors coming down per second and stuff like this. It seems like they actually changed the mechanics of the whole thing a little bit so that this is not possible. So for example, this Firebird 2-piece bonus that I have talked about in my last video, and also this magic weapon ignite effect, both don't actually proc those meteors, so you cannot get these ridiculous amounts of meteors that we were expecting. You do get quite a bit, so you can see they're falling down every half second or something like that. So if you swap between your skills really quickly, and then you have your storm armor also going down one here and there and stuff like that. So you do get a bunch of meteors. It actually looks really cool. In terms of playstyle, there is probably some work to be done, because you're mostly just standing there and alternating two buttons, left and right click all the time basically. But I like the visuals, I like the feel of it, so it's overall going in the solid direction, but not really that powerful right now. Obviously, all of these are just my first impressions, so there is a lot more testing that needs to be done, and we also have to get a fix for this Rathma stuff I showed at the start. We have to get some updates for Tarasha, etc. to really get a good feel for it. But yeah, I'm gonna take some time for all of those new things and try them out in more detail. So this was very rushed right now. I didn't get around to actually making a Tragoor Necro, but that one actually looks pretty solid and it seems to just work as it should. So I'm gonna talk about the Blood Nova build in particular as well in another video. But that one actually seems in a good shape for me. So that was kind of as expected. Here's also some Demon Hunter testing I've done, mostly mechanics testing to see what this new cluster arrow thing actually does and how this like strafe thing interacts. Overall, I gotta say on Demon Hunter it all looks kind of underwhelming. So both the strafe stuff and also the vengeance effect and the cluster arrow effect, all of these are not exactly really super impactful. Yeah, you can strafe around and you can do some funny stuff like, you know, throw the cluster bombs everywhere, but it doesn't really seem like to really benefit any builds all that much. So maybe there's going to be some potential for UE, and then aside from that, it's basically just like memes. So I'm going to leave it here for now with my first impressions. Overall, I really like the patch, but yeah, some broken stuff needs to be fixed. Some, tuning needs to be done, but that's exactly what we have the PTR for. If you are curious about those sanctified items, so they look like this. They actually have this like really cool like grayish effect. The beam also looks like that, so it has like this white / gray. It looks like this Malthael color basically. I really like it. Looks pretty amazing. The consumable is here. This is like the angelic crucible, which is some kind of like dust or whatever. And it can drop with like the similar beam. So this is what it looks like. And you can just like, put it on an item. You can have one of these items equipped at a time. And whenever you do that, you roll them to primal. There's like a few bugs with that right now, but basically this is how that works. So this is what I have to share here for now for my first impressions. It looks really cool. Lots of stuff to test, lots of stuff to fix as well. But yeah, this is how it goes. So hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe for more D3 content, and I'll see you guys next time.